water right here because you might be able to hear I have a bit of a head cold, so if I stop to take a drink, just bear with me.
That time of year.
And do you have a statement or anything?
I don't. I have about 15 minutes, and I know you have questions. I've talked to a lot of you already. I know there's no breaking news or additional information, but I know some of you want audio and video, and I'm happy to answer questions.
Ben, can you clarify what the inappropriate relationship was, and was it in any way sexual, or was it a sharing of videos or emails? What exactly was the inappropriate relationship?
I don't know if it was sexual or not. I know the board determined it was an inappropriate relationship.
Can you have an impact on the university as a whole?
Hang on, Tom.
When did the university, I'm sorry, when did the Board of Trustees find out about this first? And did they find out about it first from Ted Carter, or did they find out about it from some other source?
Someone outside the university came directly to the board in recent days. I honestly don't know exactly when, but in recent days. This is recent.
And then did the board confront Carter on this, or did...
The board asked the president disclosed an inappropriate relationship with someone seeking public resources for personal business needs and offered to resign.
When you say public resources, are you talking money? Do we know if there was money that was shared from the university?
The university will investigate concerns over public resources. Potential concerns is maybe a better way to put that. The university will investigate potential concerns regarding public resources, but I don't have any additional details right now. Yeah?
Can you share any specifics about who this person was that was seeking these public resources and for what purpose?
It was someone outside the university, and it was for personal business use.
Here in Columbus? Is she local to Columbus?
I believe so.
What does inappropriate access mean? Could that mean the sharing of emails, sharing of inappropriate or secretive documents that Ohio State does not want to disclose?
So the inappropriate access, I believe, is from the president's statement, or former president's statement, and I'm not going to speak for the former president. The statement from the university says inappropriate relationship from someone seeking public resources.
Carter's contract does not outline penalties for resigning, but it does say he needs to give 6 months notice, which he did not. Will there be any penalties for resigning?
I don't know. I can tell you he has resigned. He has resigned. There's no financial agreement beyond his contract. He has resigned.
Can you talk about the search going forward, to the process of how the university will go about that, and what the potential costs could be to find the next president? Great
question. The board is finalizing a transition plan. We'll have more to share in the coming days, but I don't have more to share today.
So there'll be an interim president, and when will that person be selected?
I don't know that that's necessarily true. If there will be an interim president, if there will be a full-time president, I know that there will be a transition plan announced in the coming days.
Who was handling
the three-hour meeting on Saturday, was it regarding this?
So we don't it was an executive session, and obviously we can't discuss executive session. I can tell you there was a 3-hour board meeting on Saturday. The reasons for that meeting are in the public announcement. The president didn't, or former president did not attend that meeting. Someone over here had a question.
OSU's been going through some different scandals. I mean, if we look at this, we can look at Les Wexner, we can look at Strauss. What do you have to say to the people who are either going to be sending their kids here or students here about why OSU is constantly in the news for this kind of thing?
Well, first of all, I think it's important to make clear that this did not have anything to do with Les Wexner. It didn't have anything to do with Jeffrey Epstein. It didn't have anything to do with names on buildings. It didn't have anything to do with Richard Strauss. It didn't have anything to do with the Chase Center. What I can tell you is that the university's been in the news a lot. The university is often in the news a lot. There are thousands of people here doing exceptional work every single day, students, faculty, staff. This is a community of more than 100,000 people. This university has been here for more than 150 years. It's doing incredible work. It has incredible momentum, and that will continue. And I think we'll get to talk about that more when we talk about a transition plan later this week.
He resigned. He resigned, and he wasn't fired. Can you talk about what that means in terms of his compensation? Will he be afforded his full salary, other compensations as well?
There's no additional compensation. He resigned.
The university has gone through several presidents in the last few years. First part to the question, what does this say about the choice of leadership? And also, what is the university going to do with this round to make sure that there's more stability?
So I wouldn't conflate those two things, although it's a natural question and I understand why you're asking. I think the reasons for this departure are made clear in the initial statement. And as I mentioned, the university will be investigating. I would say that the university has great momentum, and I expect that momentum will continue. I think you had a question.
The person that came forward, did they do so before that Saturday meeting?
The what person?
The person that came forward and informed about the inappropriate inappropriate relationship?
Was that before Saturday's
Yes.
meeting? Yes, it was. I don't know exactly what day, but it was before
So-
Saturday's meeting.
Access to university leadership involve people other than Ted Carter access to for this business person?
Again, that's in his statement. He wrote that himself, and I don't know. I can't comment on his.
So just to be clear, the woman who came forward, just to make sure the timeline is correct, the woman came forward first, and then President Carter divulged the relationship?
So I think you're making an assumption there that I don't know to be true. Someone came to the board. When you say the woman, I don't know if the person was a man or a woman. I don't know if it was the person from the inappropriate relationship. Someone came to the board and expressed concerns. The board asked the former president about those concerns. He disclosed an inappropriate relationship and offered to resign.
What will
Maybe
the
clarify.
investigation look like? Will you hire an outside law firm? How many people are you going to involve, that kind of thing?
It's a university investigation at this time.
Can you please clarify the timeline with that? When did that person come to the Board of Trustees? They met on Thursday. Did that conversation with that person who came forward happen prior to Thursday's meeting or prior to the Saturday meeting? Basically, my question is, was the Saturday executive session perhaps in response to them
Yeah.
filling that box?
Yeah, I get the question. The best I have for you is in recent days. The board was together all week last week. I think you know that. They had their full board session on Thursday, but there were committee meetings through the week. They all serve on various committees. What I can tell you is that it was before Saturday's executive session meeting that was here at University Square South.
Were they aware of it before he made his presidential report at Thursday's meeting?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Did anyone see this coming? I remember when Ted Carter was hired, there was a lot of excitement, talk about his background, but did anybody on the board or within faculty see this coming?
So I think everybody has the president's or former president's resignation letter and the chairman, John Zeiger's acceptance. Those documents are available on our website if you don't have them. I would refer you to the chair's acceptance where he says that the board is surprised and disappointed, or was surprised and disappointed.
Have you talked to Gordon Gee about, or not you personally, but has the trustees talked to him about being interim or being the permanent new president?
I can't say for certain, but I don't believe so.
Is there any possibility of a police investigation with this?
I would just say that right now there's a university investigation related to these potential concerns.
Is OSU police involved?
Not that I know of.
And what do you think about the image of Ohio State now, following up on the other issues that we have with Dr. Strauss, Les Wexner, now we have this. What is your sense of the OSU's image out beyond these walls?
Yeah, like I said before, this university is a big place. We play a important role in the state of Ohio, and I would argue we play an important role nationally. We are in the news a lot for a lot of different reasons, and we have been in the news recently for some reasons that I think people would generally say aren't the best. We have also been in the news because Time Magazine ranked us the 5th best public university in the United States of America. We've been in the news because our research expenditures hit record levels and are bigger than Harvard and Yale. We've been in the news because in December, and this is just the first group of acceptance, we accepted 10,600 Ohio high school seniors to come to this campus, this main campus. We're doing wonderful things here, and that will continue.
President Carter initiated many, many initiatives, including those new scholarships, the AI curriculum, the education for citizenship. Is it intended that those policies continue, or do you think a new president might go a different direction?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And ultimately, it will certainly not be my decision. But I would say that the board said in their letter, and the university said in its statement, that we appreciate those contributions, the contributions that former President Carter made over the last 2 years. And I think the transition plan will influence that, and the next university leader will have ultimate decision. But we're proud of those programs and believe those programs are positive.
Why was Carter allowed to resign instead of terminated for cause?
He offered to resign and it was accepted. I don't know that I have more to say than that.
Do you think that this is a problem where you get somebody the legislature likes, then sees too liberal, and then this is the other side? Like, do you think there's a fatal flaw in the legislature inserting themselves in the day-to-day affairs of OSU?
So, I think there's been a lot of conversation about that, and it's difficult for me. It's not really my place to comment on that, I guess, philosophically. I think President Carter commented on that over the 2 years he was here. President Johnson commented on that. I'm sure we could go back and find comments from President Drake and from presidents even before that. Look, we're a state institution. We're an entity of the state of Ohio. We're a public institution. I don't know that either of these departures had anything to do with politics. I'm certain that this departure has only to do with what was in this morning's statement from the university.
Was this a violation of university ethics laws?
I don't know. As I said, there will be a university investigation about these potential concerns.
And there's nothing
Who is
else.
overseeing the role of president at this point? Is there someone that's overseeing those duties?
So again, the transition plan is being finalized. There will be more information in the coming days. Typically, decisions would be made by the president's cabinet and by the board of trustees. They would work together closely. I did get a question earlier today. I don't think Noah is here, about an emergency situation. And I know you're not asking that specifically, but in an emergency situation, our public safety professionals make the decisions anyway. So where campuses need to be closed, where there's some kind of a safety risk, our emergency management professionals and public safety professionals would make those decisions. I probably got time for two.
The
maybe three more.
investigation, is the investigation done by an independent body, or who does the investigation into what
It's a
happened?
university investigation at this time.
How does this derail from the consideration of whether to rename all these Wexner buildings?
So I don't know that it does. We have a process for that. A lot of people have referenced that process. I maybe more than anybody. We have a process for that. We believe in the process. It's a thorough process, and I would say that we're in the early stages of that process.
Is it ethical for the university to be investigating the university?
For the university to be investigating the university.
Is there a conflict of interest for the
Yeah.
university?
Well, I think we have an Office of Compliance and Integrity, and I don't know that it's that unusual. I mean, we get reports. Again, we're a community of 100,000 people. In this particular case, you're all here because it's a president, but we're a community of 120,000 people. People report concerns about any number of types of misconduct, and they are investigated by the university. That's fairly normal. You had a question.
Did Carter negotiate his contract at all on his way out?
Not that I'm aware of.
So are you saying that could be external investigators called in should something come up with the internal investigation?
I would just say it's a university investigation at this time.
Is there an expected timeline for that investigation?
I don't have a timeline. We good?
Are Mr. and Mrs. Carter in the Pizzuti residence, or have they decamped, or what's the move?
The president requested 90 days to move out, and that request was granted. Where they are physically right at this very moment, I don't know.
Can you confirm the time exactly when the resignation was submitted?
So the letter's dated.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at the letter, it's dated.
And there's absolutely
A
nothing
Saturday, I
else?
think. Saturday.
Nothing you can expand upon other than what he disclosed, the one sentence we have about inappropriate relationship. You cannot expand upon that, and is it because you don't know or not allowed?
It's because I don't know.
Should we expect another update later this week?
So I think there will be an update about the transition in the coming days. I hope in the coming days means this week. I'll do my best to keep everybody posted. I wouldn't want to promise anything. Obviously, it's a evolving situation.
What can we expect for transparency for this investigation?
Look, I think the university has been incredibly transparent already. I think the statement lays out what happened to the best of our knowledge, and I have mentioned that we'll investigate and we'll go forward from there.
Have
All
you
right,
been in
that's good. I think we're
communication
good.
with Governor Mike DeWine or the Chancellor of Higher Ed?
Yes. The university has been in touch with both of those people. Yes.
And what's been the sentiment?
I think we're good. Thanks.
No sentiment?
I couldn't tell you the sentiment, and I don't know that it would be appropriate for me to do that, even if I knew.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Ben?